we've been working with the Zahn Center for some years now, watching the great products that they're putting out, the students that are working on their incredible ideas, and we have some of them here to literally pitch some of the ideas that they're working on. So let me, by moving this forward, introduce you to Lindsay, who's going to take you through the whole process.
Thank you, Clayton. Hi, everybody. Thank you for sticking around for this program at the tail end of such an awesome and action-packed day. And thank you, Silicon Harlem. Thank you, Clayton. And thank you, Bruce, for inviting the Zahn Center to be a part of it. We are actually here through another partnership, and that's with FutureWorks. FutureWorks is basically a consortium of different collaborators around New York City that are working in the advanced manufacturing and prototyping and maker space. And the Zahn Center is proud to be one of the FutureWorks shops. So we work with all sorts of other maker spacers and prototyping labs around the city to support this field of advanced manufacturing and manufacturing and jobs like that here in New York. So thank you to FutureWorks for your sponsorship and for enabling this Pitch Fest, which is coming to you tonight. So real quick about the Zahn Center. We are a program at the City College of New York, and we support entrepreneurship and innovation at City College. We start at the earliest stages of entrepreneurship, which is ideation. So we work with City College students on helping them to realize the issues and ideas that they're passionate about and the tools and skills that they can bring to the table. So they start to put these things together in order to create new businesses, new ventures. We then work with them through our incubator. We provide mentorship, we provide legal counsel, we provide co-working space, and a boot camp to train them on how to move from an idea to an actual business. And then finally, we have an accelerator where we work for 10 weeks full-time with 10 different startups over the summer to really move them from an MVP to actually bringing in revenue and actually launching their business. But as I said before, we are also a makerspace. So we have in our facility a prototyping lab that is fully equipped with state-of-the-art advanced manufacturing equipment for both prototyping and short-run manufacturing. And so the reason that tonight's event is a hardware pitch is because we wanted to open up our prototyping facility to the hardware community across New York. So actually, you're not going to meet Zahn startups today. It is not our students who are pitching to you, but rather it is hardware entrepreneurs from across the 5 boroughs of New York who have applied to the Zahn Center for this event specifically, went through a whole selection process, and the top 4 from that process are going to be here tonight. So this is us. Follow us. We're out there everywhere, all the time. Thanks to my colleague, Katie. Tonight, there's actually 4 different levels of awards. So anyone who applied to the competition actually gets 15% off their prototyping projects with us, up to $3,000. Third place tonight gets 50% off. Second place gets 75% off, and first place gets 100% off. So free prototyping up to $3,000 of their initial projects with us. Again, we want them to gain access to the sorts of resources that we have in New York to help promote this field of hardware startups, which, as we know, and it was brought up earlier, is just a difficult endeavor and an expensive endeavor. So we are very happy to help to launch many businesses using the facilities that we've got. So our judges tonight are here in the front row. As I call your name, can I ask you please to stand up? I'm going to start with Eric. Eric, please. This is Eric Cunningham. He is the CFO for Silicon Harlem. Thank you, Eric. He's a seasoned entrepreneur and financial professional, 25 years of experience in the field. Thank you for bringing your expertise tonight. Asosa Igadoro, she's the co-founder of Cosign, which is a social shopping, mobile, and web monetization tool. So an entrepreneur, and she's also a reformed banker from Citibank. Devin Borsanger is my colleague at the Zahn Center. Devin is our Director of Tech Entrepreneurship at the Zahn Center and not only oversees our incubator, but as well our prototyping facilities. And I'm going to ask Alio Diaz, another colleague of mine from the Zahn Center, to stand up. Alio is our lead engineer, which means he builds the things. So he works with our entrepreneurs and our clients at the center to actually make use of the equipment that we've got. Stacy, if I could ask you to stand up. Stacy Weissmiller is Senior Project Manager for Initiatives for the NYC Economic Development Corporation, and our liaison for the Future Works program. Thank you so much for your support. And finally, Greg. Greg Spielberg, please stand up. Greg runs the EDC's Future Works program, and as well as the director of the city strategy at Second Muse, which is a collaboration agency working on complex problems with clients like the EDC, NASA, Nike, US State Department, and more. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of our judges for lending your expertise to this process tonight. What the judges are evaluating is the same sort of thing that we evaluate our startups on. So it is this intersection of their product, their business, and their strategy, their plan. So do they have product market fit? Do they have a way of actually figuring out how to produce their product and how to make revenue off of it? So these are the 4 companies that will be pitching today, and in the order of their pitch. So companies, I hope you know the order you're pitching. We'll first have Firehouse Horology, then NGEMS, Next Generation Emergency System, MESA Light, and then finally Nohmad. For the teams, they'll have 5 minutes to pitch, and then 5 minutes with questions from our panel of judges. And my colleague Keisha in the front row here will be your timekeeper, and we will have to cut you off at your 5-minute mark. Please be forewarned. For the judges, you are deciding which of these companies will make best use of this $3,000 that we are making available to them in our services. And please make sure that you score the teams with a numeric score and add your notes so we can pass that to the teams as a learning experience. So that's it. Are you all ready to hear the first team? Yeah? All right. Without further ado, Firehouse Horology.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Manousis, and this is Kieran Shaker. And we are co-founders of Firehouse Horology, a horological nanofabrication startup based here in Harlem. So we actually make things with silicon here in Harlem, so we thought it would be a good idea to attend the Silicon Harlem conference. So a little bit of background, just really quick here. What's horology? Has anybody heard that word before? It's the study of time or the art and science of making timekeeping instruments. So our focus is on part 2 there. We make parts for mechanical watches. And what's a hairspring? A hairspring is a very small spring responsible for the accuracy of a mechanical watch. It's so small, it's about 5-6 millimeters in diameter. It's almost not really visible with the human eye. So a little bit of background, and now we'll jump into what we do and what our plans are. So our first product is the enhanced silicon hairspring. It's non-magnetic, unlike metal, and it's much more durable than any of our competition's hairsprings. Enhanced silicon is trademarked and protected by a US patent. And we're actually both wearing watches with prototypes of our springs in them. And I'm also very, very happy to say that we just recently signed on our first customer, which is a major Swiss watch brand, which is very, very exciting. And it's also exciting just to kind of think about, thank you, just the history of watch manufacturing in the United States. We used to have a very large watch industry here, but it's not here anymore. These are the first hairsprings manufactured in the US since the 60s. So the business opportunity, it's huge. The sale of mechanical watches is a $50 billion per year industry. US consumers purchase 10% of the world's mechanical watches, while the US manufactures nearly 0%. And so that's really what we're looking to change. And if you think about the business here, I think it's reinforced by the news that maybe some of you have read today. Just last night in New York, we had an auction for a very special, rare Rolex Daytona watch, and it set the record for the most expensive wristwatch in the world at $17 million for one watch. So this is a very big industry. A lot of people want to pay a lot of money for mechanical watches. And so, what's the future look like for our company? What are we working on next? Well, we've spent the last 3 years kind of in an R&D phase, mastering nanofabrication with silicon, and we're now ready to make the next step into making things with metal, making things with CNC machinery. And the next product that we're looking to make is a metal balance bridge, which will dramatically simplify the installation of our hairsprings and really open up our customer base, hopefully. And you can see a photo of what that looks like there. And actually, that's a standard balance bridge, and then that's our hairspring and one of our silicon balances that's running in that watch. And so we really think that CNC machining at the Zahn Center will make this possible. And it's kind of funny because we work at the CUNY ASRC, the Advanced Science Research Center, which is just like 2 minutes walk down the street from the Zahn Center. So we're neighbors. We're really excited to be here. We're excited to be manufacturing, making hardware here in Harlem. And thank you. We're open to any questions.
Is the market size growing or shrinking? Because with millennials buying more smartwatches, what's going to be the sustainability of the manufacturing process?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's one of the first things people ask us generally when we talk about the fact that we do mechanical watches. You know, arguably the world of mechanical watches became obsolete in 1969 when quartz watches were invented. So the fact that as a result, actually, the market really dipped at that point. And the low point was about 1985, where tons of companies went out of business and the future looked like it might not even, exist. There might be no future. But since then, we've had a real resurgence, and it's almost because of that obsolescence that people have now looked at it in a different way. It's no longer a tool that you need to do your work. It's now an object that you live with in your life, and it has a different kind of significance. You think about this has been with me. This was with me when I got married, and I wore this on my wedding day. And if you have kids, I wore this when my son or daughter was born, and when they become whatever age, I'll give it to them. So it's definitely growing. To answer the first part of your question, and it's almost a fundamentally different product than a wearable tech device. So the future, it's sort of like art, like vintage cars, it's not going anywhere but up. Say.
So can you talk through a little bit of your business model and how you are planning to get to your next client?
Sure, absolutely. So the spring that we've made so far is, we saw what was out there in the market, and issues with durability and magnetism and things like that. So we did about 3 years of R&D, as Nick mentioned, and we came up with our technology, our patent pending compound, basically, that solves those problems. And so we have made springs with these that solve these problems. The thing is, though, there are some less sophisticated customers that we might want to sell to where installing that spring is very difficult. So as Nick showed a picture of the balance bridge, if we can do traditional machining, like at Zahn, hopefully, to make that entire balance bridge. Now installation becomes trivial. Like you can learn how to install that in 2 or 3 minutes, and you can get really good at it in about an hour. So it really opens us up to a much wider range of customers. So this thing that we spent all this time making, now we can really kind of launch it once we basically start machining this the bridge to go with it. It's almost like a hairstring module you can think of. And then beyond that, other parts, of course, the things that are opened up with silicon, it really changes the way you think about manufacturing. You no longer have to think in, okay, can you mill this? Can you lathe this? You can think in a different way. And it opens up all sorts of things that have never been done before.
Well, good job so far. I want to know who's your biggest competitor and what will happen when somebody copies your design.
Sure. The first part of the question, our biggest competitors, there are competitors and there are people in Switzerland who are doing silicon work. The thing is, they tend to be owned by large watch conglomerates, so they don't really sell outside of their groups. So the majority of watch companies have no access to these parts. And the second part is, we do have one patent pending, and we'll be probably filing another one in the next week or two, and then our third one shortly after that. So, while it is, I guess, possible to compete, we do have advantages of a bit of a head start. Before we did this, we were watch guys, so we've I guess have our finger on the pulse of like what's going on out there, throughout the country, and there's not really another person in the country that's doing this. And like I said, the international competition seems to be mostly owned by the big brands, so it's not really, they're not selling to the majority of companies. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey guys. Hey, I brought some props with me. Hope that's not advanced. I broke it. Okay. Should I just? Hey. I'm Ravi from MESA Light. This is my backyard in Greenpoint. MESA came. I came up with the idea for MESA. It was for a solution for lighting outdoor spaces. My background is in designing and engineering lighting. I used to work for a company, Roland Hill, in Sunset Park. We work on really high-end lighting fixtures, like some of these are around $10,000 each. So the model for making stuff in that space is a lot of machine parts, a lot of low volume, high-end production. And so what I learned in that space is lighting is really about directing where the light is going. As we saw earlier when we had the lighting issues here, shaping light also gives you a sense of space and helps define the space around you. So when you look at traditional lanterns, like you see the single point of light that shines in all directions, and then when you see LED lanterns today, most of them also follow that same format. Here you see a comparison of the latest LED lanterns and traditional lanterns, and it's almost exactly the same thing. So when I came with MESA, the idea was to change that form factor to not shine in your eyes. So instead, it illuminates the table itself. So it assembles itself. It uses this bungee system to snap the legs out. It's thanks. It's I set it at just the right height so you can see across. You know, that way it doesn't shine in your eyes. And it's based on two core technologies, right? The one is lithium batteries, you know, which is common in the mobile industry, and LEDs, high performance LEDs that create, you know, warmer color temperatures and you know, a more even light distribution. So you see in the outdoor space, a lot of people don't take advantage of those two things because, you know, typically they're looking at price points where they can't afford this level of technology, and they use bluer lights that look a lot harsher in your eyes. So this is a product that I developed over the last few years. I recently launched it on Kickstarter, and it was successful, uh, and I'm working on shipping it now. So as a follow-up to this product, I'm working on a new product that is that's focused on a different lighting problem in an indoor space. So this is called the code name right now is Uplight. So I was working on with a machinist to come up with the textures of this surface, but I'm sort of hitting a wall of getting the quality and the detail I'm looking for. So the concept for Uplight is that you see this sort of directional light for architecture and stuff where you're shooting up on the wall, but really it's sort of the same effect as these downlights, you know, shooting from the ceiling. And I'm sure a lot of you guys live in apartments like I do, and you don't really have a lot of control about what lights you install in a space. You know, you just have that one light in the center. So, and that's the only thing your switches are attached to. So I wanted to create a personal scale light that you can position in your space. The second part of it is the idea of CNC work as art, as being a digital craftsman. So, like you see in Devin's glasses, those were CNC made in Brooklyn too. So it's an interesting combination that we're at right now, where you can create design in the actual digital toolpaths themselves. So I'm looking at the Zahn Center and help with Leo and his crew to design that texture itself. So here you can see like this toolpath results in the actual shape of it. And most of the time, in most products, you polish that away. You erase the history of that product, you know. But like all over my desk, I have, you know, CNC prototypes, you know, and that detail and, you know, texture is part of it. It's an artifact of where it came from and how it was made. And the other thing about it is it scales down really well. You don't need 10,000 units. They're made one at a time, literally. It's almost like a tailor making clothes. So you can do very short runs of like 10 pieces. You can do limited edition, change the material, finish them individually per customer. Thanks.
Questions? Yeah.
How many prototypes can you produce for $3,000, roughly?
I'll do my first production run. So I'm at ADO right now, and we're going to do a product launch with them in January. So I want Uplight to be part of it. And so this allows me, there's no difference between prototypes and production. Like, we can just pick the textures that, you know, look interesting and work well and roll that and sell that directly. How many? Well, I haven't seen you guys' rates yet, so depends on that.
So, really good job with doing a Kickstarter and kind of validating the first product.
Mhm.
I'm curious though, what do you foresee this market being, and exactly who are you targeting for the second product?
I think what's interesting about Kickstarter is you're really talking to your customers directly. So the way I see it is, it's not like you're advertising to everybody. You're only showing it to the people that respond. You know, so if they get it, then they're your customer. If they don't get it, it's fine. You know, so it's not a product I'm trying to oversell. It's really about, you know, creating a video around what this product does and how it works for me, and if that translates, then that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Kind of a nitpicky question, but so these uplights basically sit in the corner or wherever you want to feature light, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can individually direct them, and the other thing about it is there's no switch on it. It's actually a motion sensor. So you set the brightness every time you turn it on, which I think is interesting because you don't really get to do that in a lot of lighting. You know, you turn it on and it's like you're always trying to, you know, you don't get to make that decision every time you use it.
Okay, so take me through your future. You win this competition. You get $3,000 worth of prototyping. You do your first run. Now
Right.
you're regularly selling them. And how much is that going to cost you to make? How much is that going to cost you to? How many units do you anticipate selling? How are you going to be revenue neutral, revenue positive? Like, what is that? What does your business look like
Right.
afterwards?
So with this product, there's really not much of an MOQ issue. You know, we can do PCB manufacturing, you know, in New York also with PCB-NG. We can do, you know, tens to hundreds at a time. And I want to do aluminum and brass, you know, for 2 price points. And that way, I'm not sitting on a lot of inventory. I can, you know, build and ship myself. It doesn't require a lot of the problems that I've seen in past projects that either of my own or, you know, companies I've worked with before. So I think I can be, you know, profitable within the first few pieces even. Can I? This one launched on Kickstarter at $99. So retail will be a little bit higher. This one, it's I'm really trying to depend on the pricing of the actual components. So it's still in that like less than $200 range, which is, I think, you know, there's this sort of like design products, you know, that are like this $500, $1,000 type of stuff, MoMA store things. Then there's like IKEA stuff that's like $20 to $100, and there's a big gap in between that I think people that are interested in design want to buy from people in their community that are interested in their story of how it was produced.
Cool. Well, I want to know how big your market is and how many customers have you talked to so far about the uplight? No,
About
MESA
this
Light.
one?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people will sort of like get the idea when they see it working, when I can start to visualize real prototypes. Since it's like in the home product, I think the potential is really big, but it's really about, it's not about trying to make as many as possible. It's trying to match my business and production with the scale that makes sense. So I'm looking at doing it in the, you know, hundreds to thousand range and not like 10,000 units and beyond. We'll make new products. Yeah, thanks.
Hello, I'm Chetan, founder of NGEMS. We are surrounded by disasters that have impacted each one of our lives differently. Recent events like Houston floods, California fire, Mexico earthquake have all cost us lives. It was a personal loss that led me to create next generation emergency system. We identified several problems. Operational difficulty and limited site information is the biggest challenge for the first responders. During rescue operations, when they enter inside a building, they absolutely don't know what to expect. Saving 15 minutes of evaluation time will result in preventing most of the casualties. We have NGEMS, Next Generation Emergency System. It will provide emergency solution to maximize rescue operation. It is an IoT analytics platform using integrating sensing technologies to provide fast information to first responders. It uses radio frequency to locate people and provide life-critical information. It consists of emergency hardware radio module and software analytics platform. The emergency radio modules will be pre-installed in the buildings. It will consist of Wi-Fi, cellular, RFID, and audio analytics utilities that will help in locating people. We are also creating NGEMS modules that can fit onto the drones. We are currently pilot testing at NYU Tisch School of Arts, monitoring 17,000 square feet of area in collaboration with Public Safety Department, NYU Public Safety Department. We are helping them with information like building occupancy, floor layout, safe exits, compromised exit, giving them a complete site overview. NGEMS solution will offer 6 critical benefits that will result in maximizing rescue operations, improving daily operations, and reducing liability cost for the risk managers. Product market research and speaking with different customers, we have created different tiers to suit different customer needs. And we recommend the standard plan that would cover 15,000 square feet of area. We believe total annual cost of $1.6 million will generate a revenue of $6.1 million. NGEMS' initial operation plan is in New York City, which has an addressable market size of $4.7 billion. We are currently pilot testing at NYU Tisch School of Arts. There are 68 universities in New York itself, and the next that we would be going forward with Columbia. We are in discussion with Venco Sales and Honeywell as channel distribution partner. Billions of dollars are invested every year in securing lives and preventing casualties. But NGEMS is the only holistic solution that covers all the 4 areas of emergencies, helping first responders, civilians, dispatch center, and rescue site. A lot of organizations have been helping us, and NYU has given us a good platform to help grow the venture. We are a team of software and hardware engineers guided by experienced mentors, and we belong to NYU community who can make things happen. We have a lot to share on each slides and would love to take questions in the Q&A.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm curious about when you thought about this product and in terms of selling it, what is the price point and what model are you thinking about when selling and distributing this product?
So we have different categories. We have basic, standard, and premium. The basic would be using technology, which is Wi-Fi sniffing and audio analytics. This will come as a package with 3 units. It will cover an area of 15,000 square feet. And what it will do is, through signal strength of mobile devices, it will locate people in the buildings. And at the same time, it will broadcast that information with law enforcement and the security dispatch team, helping them with rescue operations. Followed by the standard plan, which has audio analytics and cellular sniffing. And there would be certain infrastructure integration that would help secure and increase the safety standards of the buildings.
Yeah. This is the transmitter, right?
Yes, these are the modules
Yeah.
pre-installed in the buildings.
And then what do first responders have to carry? What's the receiver? And do you guys make that part as well, or does it go into
So
pre-existing?
for first responders, this information would be available on so we have a responsive application created for them, which they can immediately access. But at the same time, what we are working on is having a device that they can plug onto their phone. So even if these modules fails, they can still access the information which is going inside the building.
So I have a question. Based on these modules, how much of this is really going to be made if you were to get those credits at the Zahn Center, and how much time is really put into making the hardware and linking in the IoT platform?
So we have done the research. We have identified as to these are the hardware components that are required, and we want to upgrade that with proper PCB manufacturing. So with this amount, we would be focusing on Wi-Fi sniffing module and trying to have a refined product created.
Why is that Wi-Fi sniffing module important? Why is that what you're focusing on? What happens if you get that? What is that? How does that change your business or change your plan or advance you?
So Wi-Fi sniffing is something wherein no one has to do any infrastructure changes. In places like educational institutes, if we decide on cellular sniffing, there are certain legal obligations. So immediately getting it installed in the buildings which has cellular sniffing would require some process to get approval. But Wi-Fi sniffing is something we can quickly do, we can quickly get it installed, and we can just go forward and help even there are catastrophes. And we will be having access to the information immediately.
What about security? You know, if somebody comes and hack your system, they're gonna know how many people are there. You know, how you guys are going to the security side.
So we are working on serverless architecture. So using AWS Greengrass. So we would be protecting the infrastructure in a way wherein it would be self-contained environment. So there are ways wherein we would be encrypting all the data that we are capturing so that during such crisis that you mentioned, the data can still be protected.
All right, can I borrow this? All right, that was our fourth pitch for the evening, right? Oh, no, we've got one more.
Oh man, don't do me like that.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Is it this one? You see how she was gonna do me, man? That's wrong right there. Come on now, it'll be quick. We gonna run through it, and we'll get y'all going. I saw some people falling asleep. That turkey sandwich must be working. So before I get started, this is not my company, so I wanna. How do I? This it? All right. All right, guys. All right. My name is Sean Roda. I'm a licensed barber and a stylist from Texas. So I moved here March 1st. And before I get started, I want to ask, has anyone ever had or needed a beauty service, edge up, shape up is what they call it up here, makeup service or anything like that prior to, and your professional wasn't available? Has anyone ever needed that and you just couldn't get, all right, got you. Now, also, it's an economic question. So where do you think the barber, stylist, makeup artists, and nail technicians fall economically from? Do you think they're high, mid, or low income earners? Low? Okay, which one? High? Great, keep that. So I want you guys to see that you're really going to love this. So my company is Nohmad, and so what we do is we build equipment, implements, and tools for beauty professionals to respond to the world of on-demand. So our purpose is to mobilize these individuals. The opportunity is not in the barbershop, salon, or anywhere. It's coming to you to get it done. You guys are incredibly busy, and as I'm looking around, there's some good-looking people in here. Your brand is, there's a cost to your brand, and so we need to service that brand. And so this is a B2B, but also a large B2C opportunity. So here's the problem. Biggest problem right now is that service professionals outnumber places to practice 8 to 1. That number is almost 11 to 1. So you can see there is an income inequality. And so most people think they're high income earners. And our next slide will actually show that. You're going to see a broad view of what we're going to do, and we're going to talk about at the end what the products look like and also how we're going to use this credit. And so as you can see, there's a large growth percentage in beauty professionals by 2024. So the solution is to build this equipment and to standardize the user experience for the professional and also for the client. I was cutting at Facebook in Austin, and it was a disaster. I performed the service. They loved it. The guys were, raving about me, but at the same time, my back was killing me. We were cutting in a regular seat and things like that, and it was just bad, but you kind of power through because on the economic side, I made $400 in one day, which was amazing. And so that's what we plan to do, and it alleviates brick and mortar. It alleviates just the dependence on being a stagnant professional, and you're not going to make money like that in today's environment with people ordering everything from toilet paper on the toilet to soap, reaching out in the bathroom. So it's all about on demand and getting to your customer as fast as possible. So back to you said, 45% of us, and I was one of these guys that made under minimum wage. 45% of the demographic. There's almost over 1 million stylists and barbers and nail techs out there that make under minimum wage. Now Instagram you may think because they look great. That's their job. Their job is to look great. But a lot of them, including myself, you can be broke. It's rich broke, or they say just over broke. One of those things. It happens like that. The market size of this of the beauty industry, as I said before, your brand has a number to it. Is $265 billion. $265 billion. This is not a cyclical industry. In 2008, 2009, the industry was rising. Just people were spending on beauty 5% every year, and that was during the recession at one of the pitfalls of America. So people still want to look good, even when they ain't got no money. What we're going after right now is just a small, attainable market with the products that we're made. We're going after 10,000. New York and Texas, Florida, California are two of the largest states with the most licensed professionals, and that's what we're going after first. These are some of the competitive landscapes that we would actually be selling these products to. I personally work for Priv. I got a lot of opportunities from them going to cut at various places, making a lot of money, and just, and also just the visibility. You were around so many people, and it was a great thing. So we're going to fast forward through here. Eventually, we will make an app that will pair with our equipment to standardize that user experience, and also so you're able to book your professionals anywhere you need to. And so this is a revenue model, and what we're going to do is we're going to speed through, and this is our chair. So we made the chair. The chair took us 7 chairs there's 7 chair elements inside this one chair, and this is the case that we're going to reconfigure, and this is how we're going to use this with the $3,000. We're going to use for our MVP. It'll validate the proof of concept. It will solidify our market position and everything. We will sell this to our competitive landscape, allow them to grow their business and become the generic. We will be the Q-tip of, and I mean Q-tip in the ear, not Q-tip the rapper, Q-tip of the industry when it comes to it. Nohmad is a brand of professional and not a brand. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. And once again, I'm so sorry about that, this will ignite small business generation and wealth generation as well, because a lot of barbers and stylists and nail techs, they look like me. And I am a part of that area, and I definitely want to help them. Thank you. As long as I kept y'all woke, I'm good.
What are 5 places where you would set this up, or where a tech would set this up?
Oh, you got a hotel. You have a men's store, women's store. You've got a multitude of places from, not so much a fair, but you could set it up. It could be its own pop-up. You have the Marriott, who now you can actually change. You can actually, you can go into their app and you can customize your room, 400 count, the thread count, bed sheets and stuff like that. Why not a beauty service? I mean, there's a lot of women and men going to conferences and stuff like that, and when you get there, you need things. So if it's in a hotel lobby, they don't have to create a barbershop or anything like that. You can set it up in a retail store. Saks Fifth Avenue actually just built 10 barbershops, which is crazy because that's a lot of overhead and it may not work. And their CEO from Hudson Bay just quit. So, it's a lot. This right here commodifies that VIP experience. So you can set this up in a multitude of areas and even homes. So we only need about 5 to 10 square feet. We've got all the tools to clean and everything like that. And this particular case that we got and we're going to reconfigure for the MVP is we're going to make it customizable for different professionals.
What's the cost of production versus the cost of sale?
The cost of production, we're looking to have it between 15 to 2,000. I'm sorry, 1,500 and 1,200. And so what we did was we designed this chair based off everything in the open market before we get into any proprietary parts. We tested the pricing with beauty schools, beauty students, and my colleagues at $2,000 to $3,000. Didn't get a balk at that. I paid $800 of booth rent every month, and I wasn't even making $2,400 or $1,600 a month. So that pricing was based off that there.
How are you going to go to market? How are you going to get this in the hands of, and who you have 10K as your SOM, right?
Yeah, I think I was confused on that, but if you want to give me 10K, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was confused on that. 3,000.
Whatever that number was,
I got
might be
3K.
confused
It's
as
all
well.
good.
The question is, how are you going to reach them?
So what we would end up doing, when I worked for Priv, they saw this CAD that we did, and so they wanted to buy 100 chairs. The reason for moving from Texas was because down in Texas, stuff like this doesn't happen. You don't have opportunities like this. We just, you know what, man? I wish I did, bro. I wish I did. But it's so that's why we came. We would end up selling to the competitive landscape. We've already talked to Wall. Anthony Fitch was the marketing director. We went to the Cosmoprof North America, which is like the Grammys of hair. We went there this past summer, talked to everybody, spoke to 4 particular partners. HCT Cosmetics, that does all the cosmetics for Sephora, MAC, Wall, which is on the front end when it comes to autonomous tools and cordless tools, and Andis. And so we worked with them. We talked to them and showed them everything we have. Anthony Fitch was the most receptive and said, look, man, you build it. I'm ready to alter my tools to get it done, to get in that case. And so we would use their infrastructure, but immediately go to our competitive landscape, and they would let them scale their business so we can figure out exactly how we can kind of strategize and get a better product out there, and let them iterate it. Let them kind of, tell us what we need to do better.
I have a clarifying question. So it's a chair and then it goes into a style station, or
so you need the you have a chair. So without these two are a system, and so we already have a packing solution, everything for it that you'll be able to take around for the professionals, so they come to you and set up. So the chair is the crooks. It's fully hydraulic. It took us 7 chairs there's 7 chair elements in there. And so you would pack that around, and they would all be on like a small trolley. It's not as big as it looks. And they would, all their tools, which are going to be cordless, are in this case, and they set up right there. You're going to have a mobile floor and all of that stuff. So everything from self-cleaning, like I said, it's all, being a barber and a stylist, I took that shop experience and made it packable. And so that's what it is. So it's a system. Like a car with no seatbelts, you wouldn't buy that. Yeah, so
cool. And there's nothing like this on the market now?
No, ma'am. So I called every state, and I talked to them about just the rules and regulations. And all the local municipalities, they actually don't have any rules for this. So we would be able to write the rules for this particular industry, because they don't really know, they didn't think it could be built.
It's a really compelling product. I also.
How much does it weigh?
Oh, how much is it gonna weigh?
So I designed it for a woman that's 5'5", 115, because those are the women that I went to school with. In Texas, right? They small. You would think but they're little women out there. So I made it to where it would be for a woman that's that little, all the way, because they say everything's big in Texas. You know how that goes. Yes, so the chair is going to weigh we're going to try to keep it right under 30 pounds. The max capacity weight is 450. We're going to do what we can to make sure that everything is between 60 pounds total. But once again, you'll be able to pack it, have a trailer that you'll be able to pull it with you. Similar like luggage. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to Clayton.
Okay, yeah. By the way, excellent presentations. Let's give it up for the timer, keeping us on time. All right, so yes, the judges are going to deliberate. We're going to be announcing the third, second, and first players. So we'll allow them to do that. Let me make a couple of quick points here. One is, if you can last through the next 2 things, one of them is hearing the winner, but also we're going to make our Smart 21 announcement